Hey everyone, and welcome to the next level. This is the next installment in my Bad Habits video series. And what I'd like to address today is the concept of line starting points. This is something not many people talk about, and this is also something that's hard to pinpoint in one's playing, unless you know what to look for. I don't know if you know this or not, but most people, when playing lines, tend to start those lines at the same 2 or 3 familiar places on the bar. What do I mean by that? Most people start their lines either on beat 1 or beat 1 and different people could have different starting points, but my point is that most people have the same 2 or 3 starting points from where they start their lines. I once recorded myself play and analyzed my solo for when I start my lines, and I was shocked to realize that I usually start my lines on the same couple of places in the bar. I realized that I always start my lines on one end, like this. Or I start my lines on 3 end, like this. And I was kind of shocked to realize that, man, all of my lines are starting at the same few spots in the bar. I always start them on 1 end or 3 end. And again, I wasn't realizing I was doing it. Like any unaware and unbalanced habit, this creates a sense of boredom in the solo. I think it won't surprise you when I say that if you were to start your lines in different places in the bar, it would make your phrasing sound less predictable. And so I decided to start practicing at home, deliberately starting my lines on places inside the bar where I usually wouldn't start my lines. Like start the line on beat 2, like this. Or start a line on 4 end, like this. Again, this is not something you should be thinking about when you're playing on the gig, right? When you're on the gig, you should just be playing. You should just be in the moment. But when you're on the gig, you should already have these habits formed and worked on by addressing them consciously and deliberately in the practice room. As always, the idea behind this is to bring variety to the way you do things. Variety makes the solo richer, more engaging, and more captivating to the listener. Again, I think it won't surprise you when I say that if you were to start your lines in different places in the bar, it would make your phrasing sound less predictable. Unfortunately, we don't always have a sense for where in our playing we have such bad habits of doing something unconsciously in a limited way. This is why paying attention to stuff like this can really open your eyes to the many ways through which you can enrich your soloing and make it more balanced. Which is another way of saying more interesting to listen to, which is another way of saying more great. So I highly recommend practicing to start your lines at any possible place in the bar. On beat 1, beat 1 end, beat 2, 2 end, 3, 3 end, and so on and so forth. Then you can combine. You can say, I'm going to play 2 lines. The first one is going to start on beat 1, the next one is going to start on beat 4, like this. Or you could say the first line is going to start on beat 2 and the next line is going to start on beat 3, like this. This is it, you guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you want to stay tuned for future videos. I have a lot more coming, and we're gonna cover some very interesting content. Content of the sort I don't really see a lot of on other YouTube channels. So thanks again, please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.